Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
What's up?
We're looking at Marvel What If Episode 5 breakdown, Easter eggs, and details you missed from new Rockstars. Thank you, new Rockstars, for allowing us to react to this. Very much appreciated. Y'all, if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell icon, all notifications, and vote this video up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Here we go.
Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of Marvel Studios' What If Episode 5, What If Zombies? Which allows us to laugh through a zombie apocalypse until we remember that earlier apocalypse we were worried about. I'm gonna break down all the Easter eggs and animation details that you might have missed from this episode. Here we go. We open with Hulk blasting back to Earth via the Bifrost. In Avengers Infinity War, the framing actually matches those shots, including the tilt rotation on the shot of Manhattan, the reflection of Hulk in the Sanctum window, but this time the Bifrost blast to the staircase comes not as Strange and Wong are there, but leaving Banner all alone.
Thanos is coming. He's coming. Hello?
No one except for the Cloak of Levitation, who might be Earth's sole survivor by the end of all this. But no word on what happened to Wanda Maximoff and Hulk whose skin is supposed to be impenetrable, or to Bucky, or how Thor would have held up, or Groot, who as a Flora Colossus is made of bark like cellulose instead of skin tissue and blood. I'm just saying, we need a Marvel Zombies Part 2 and get this Groot a cape. The cloak hooks up Banner with the maroon robes that sorcerers typically wear, and he asks,
Was I too late?
he's assuming that Thanos already succeeded in snapping away life. I guess he wouldn't know how long he was out for. Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian beam down to the street without the heavy gusts of their Q ship. Hulk refuses to come out, as he does during this scene in Infinity War. Actually, in that movie, Ebony Maw proclaims,
Hear me and rejoice. You are about to die at the hands of the children of Thanos.
Here it plays out this way.
Hear me and rejoice.
Come on, come out, come out! What do you mean, no?
You are about to die at the hands of the children of...
Yeah, mixing in Banner's later moment from Infinity War.
Come out, come out, come out!
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean, no?
And right as Ebony Maw says hands, Iron Man's hand appears, and Maw is cut off right before he says Thanos, avoiding reminding us of the guy to set up the final twist of the episode.
Oh,
Banner's
yeah, and I
three
saw it.
co-warriors from Infinity War arrive,
Tony?
with Alan Silvestri's Avengers music there.
Yeah, they had
Right, yeah.
theme music all
Wong and
throughout
Iron Man
this.
and Doctor Strange look haggard and tattered. Tony is wearing his Mark 50 nanotech armor from Infinity War, but notice how his helmet is retracted, the better to bite us with. Banner says,
Oh boy, are you guys screwed.
which Banner says later in Infinity War when Thor arrives late.
You guys are so screwed now!
Through the dust cloud, you can make out a super tattered zombie Strange jumping through a portal directly at Ebony Maw. No care whatsoever if Maw were to take the time stone in the Eye of Agamotto. They mask this brawl with thicker dust in a lens flare, and they use sound effects in Obsidian's hand to hint at the violence.
That sort of seems like overkill.
Notice how the zombies can still use their weaponry and their sorcery.
Yeah.
In Robert Kirkman's Marvel Zombies comics, the virus, known as the Hunger, leaves the infected's full mental capacity unaffected. It just really leaves them with a carnivorous drive akin to zombies. The comics also followed the Fantastic Four, Magneto, Galactus, a whole bunch of characters as the virus spreads to alternate realities, and we learn that the outbreak began when a Watcher from the Earth Z dimension sent a zombified Sentry to Earth 2149. So yes, a Watcher was behind all of this. In this case, our Watcher doesn't intervene, and it's caused by something else that I'll get to later. Notice how Zombie Stark's face is decayed, but his earlobe still has a bit of flesh tone in there.
Oh,
Kinda like
shit.
how we see with Zombie Cap's ear later, showing how this virus is really just affecting their limbic systems in their brains, and how with the right Mind Stone frequency, this could be reversed, but to a pretty decayed, bony body. And what kind of quality of life are we talking there? Wong gnaws on
Exactly.
Obsidian's severed arm, similar to how he uses a portal to sever that arm in Infinity War, but then Wong here dies a similar way, portal severance, this time to the head. Banner kicks it, just like how he kicked Obsidian's arm all freaked out. Wasp uses
wow.
a swarm of flying ants to disintegrate these zombies.
Who are you?
All that's left.
Yeah, some fun wordplay from Hope there. Hope is all that's left. The dad jokes
Aw.
aren't limited to Scott here. Spider-Man scoops up Banner.
Hey, relax. I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh yeah? Well then, what the hell happened to the neighborhood?
Yeah, Peter Parker is voiced not by Tom Holland, but by actor and singer Hudson Thames. Notice how his suit isn't exactly like the one we saw in Infinity War, perhaps because Sony might own that exact movie version of the
Oh,
suit.
wow.
So instead, they used the Disney-owned version of the suit that they made for the Disney parks. The Watcher says,
Like too many great catastrophes,
This one sprang from a place of love and hope.
Yeah, notice how he's much closer to us than he usually is,
Oh,
and
true,
now
true,
we see his
true.
mouth as he's talking. Like, ever since nearly interfering last episode, he is getting nearer and nearer each week as he takes a less godly and more personified form. He
I was
explains
thinking
how
about
2
that.
weeks earlier, Hank Pym went to rescue Janet Van Dyne from the quantum realm. Notice how Pym approaches a crystalline barrier, which in Ant-Man and the Wasp represented the barrier between subatomic space and the separate dimension that the quantum realm is. But here, the distant orange light, the tendrils, the floating crags are all on this side of the barrier. And he lands on a different surface than before, and there is a problem.
Janet Van Dyne contracted a quantum virus that corrupted her brain.
Yeah, so the Watcher doesn't go into any further detail about the origins of this quantum virus or why Janet and Hank didn't get affected when in the quantum realm in the movie, which is a bit weird because every episode up until now, we see at least some kind of deliberate turning point from the movies that characters make, whether it's Peggy Carter deciding to stay in the room or Dr. Strange still being in a relationship with Christine Palmer. So what is the difference here? Well, after staring at this for too long, notice these purple pillars of light that now beam up from below. Those were not in the movie. I'm wondering if these could be the origins of the virus. And inside Marvel, I speculated that Janet could have been intentionally infected by someone who engineered this virus specifically to get to Thanos.
But
Maybe
who?
even engineered by the Celestials, known to be experimental biological engineers of the Marvel Universe, hoping perhaps that zombie Thanos might use his stones instead to incarnate a sudden influx of life, because what do zombies want more than anything? An unlimited amount of uninfected flesh to chew on. And that this might trigger that emergence that in the Eternals trailer, they said Hulk's snap energy surge triggered. Meanwhile, there's no sighting of the mysterious quantum realm city that was hidden in the background in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I now believe to be Kang's kingdom of Chronopolis. Since Kang is returning in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, there's also an argument that Kang could have released this virus as a way to try to biologically subvert the absolute point of Thanos' snap on the timeline. I'm just saying, the fact that the virus didn't affect these characters in Ant-Man and the Wasp means that something changed. Someone wanted this virus to get into our reality. Meanwhile, you gotta love the Watcher's sass here.
Oof, that happened.
And Wasp's shadow crosses over Hank's lifeless hand, leading Hope to greet what she thinks is her mom, and I love Scott piping in the background there.
Mom?
Hi, Miss Van Dyne.
Hank attacks Scott, and Scott's hand grasps the glass in the classic horror frame, or like Rose's sex grasp in Titanic.
I was thinking about that.
I was thinking more of that one.
Real quick, earlier in the video when Branner arrives at the stairwell and he starts talking, you know, the reason he started talking in the film was because he saw faces. He saw Wong and he saw Doctor Strange. Here he's just talking to nobody.
Yeah.
And he got up right away with his strength completely restored real quick. That was a little bit odd to me, but it's an animation, so you just got to keep it moving. A lot of these overlaps between the film and the animation, I was actually onto that because it stood out to me as something that frustrated me. And it's like I was frustrated with Banner at what was going on with his body, where he's like, come on, Hulk, you asshole. He's just like so mad at himself. All that like left an impression in my mind. It was a little bit surprising to me that Ebony, or whatever his name is.
Ebony Maw?
Ebony Maw, like that he didn't hear Iron Man behind him with the portal and all. Because the portal makes a sound.
Doctor Strange? Yeah.
Well, he got blown by Iron Man.
Oh, right.
So,
yeah, that part.
you know, he's pretty quick on his feet. I had no idea that there was a comic that actually went through this story. Obviously, the origin of the virus is a little bit different because it came from a Watcher in that particular one, but that was pretty wild to find out. The imposing image of the Watcher getting closer.
Well, he was saying
right
that it made him more personified, but I think that with his big big head here in this frame like that, it makes him seem even more godlike to me.
It makes him
less
seem
human.
even more imposing.
Yeah.
Whatever it makes it feel like. The reason why they were more comfortable to show his face here is because they showed him in Doctor Strange's episode. So it's the slow reveal of showing him more and more and more. I was kind of shocked when they showed him in the last episode. It just makes sense that they would have him be less ethereal here and less ambiguous and just, you know, have a clear image of his face, given that we're this far along into the season now. I thought it was a little bit funny that when Hank Pym gets killed, there's a shadow over his body, and it made me think for a second, where is the light source in this subterranean, you know, microscopic level? I don't know how any of that stuff works. Obviously, I'm not a chemist. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions, right there. You see that? Okay, there's a shadow. See the shadow?
Okay, so that's her. Her
what is-
wings came
but,
out.
Like, where's the light source? Because there's no sunlight down there.
It's all glowing. It could be just
I
the phosphorance.
It's a creative liberty they're taking, but
Yeah.
at that level, on a Planck level, is there any light? Is there any light sources down there, or is everything just instinct? This is a question for someone much smarter than myself to answer.
I barely
but-
did physics.
The Avengers Quinjet lands on Golden Gate Bridge with Hawkeye, Infinity War era blonde Natasha, Cap back in a Civil War suit with his shield that has already been resurfaced after T'Challa scratched it in Civil War, and his 2018 beard shaved. Supposedly, this crisis must have ended the feud between him and Tony, and then of course Iron Man
that
and
makes
Black
sense.
Panther. I love this lineup. I would have loved to see these guys in action. But notice as the camera pulls away, we see the zombies tackle Iron Man and Hawkeye and Natasha, but none actually tackle T'Challa. In fact, the
That's
last we see of him
true.
through that crowd, he is swatting back one of those zombies. And in that tight vibranium weave, it makes sense that he would be able to repel the bites. On to Peter Parker's
Wait, why didn't they attack him?
No, they did attack him, but the shot showed everyone else kind of being taken down by zombies, but it wasn't actually confirmed in that shot whether he was being taken down. But we do see him swatting away a zombie, and because his suit is made out of vibranium, it's probably very good at repelling zombie bites.
Gotcha.
On to Peter Parker's DIY zombie survival video, recalling the quick cut video diaries that he kept in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
It's also similar to the rules in the movie Zombieland.
Yes.
We see Peter here with other survivors, including Happy Hogan, shirt reading, "I'm not single, I'm saving myself for Thor," skills, driving, coffee, and boxing, recalling his past in the comics as an amateur wrestler, and his skills in
I didn't know that.
Iron Man 2. He wears Tony Stark's wristwatch-based palm repulsor from Civil War. This would be one of the previous versions Stark would have after he upgraded to the Mark 50.
Just a fun fact. So the actor playing Happy, who was Jon Favreau, also a
Yeah.
director, he was in Friends as a guest star for several episodes playing Monica's boyfriend. And his goal was to become, by the end of his run in the show, his goal was to become the world's ultimate fighter, because he was basically Bill Gates and he conquered the computer world. Now he wanted to conquer the fighting world.
That's a fun little reference then.
Yeah.
Then Kurt, David Desmalchian's character from the Ant-Man films, he's wearing his ex-con security jacket. Skills, languages, Slavic folklore, and crime. Slavic folklore referring to his Baba Yaga ghost story that comes back later this episode. Bucky Barnes showers in a USA-themed shower curtain as he later in this episode bears the stars and stripes of the shield. He's listed as silent but deadly. Skills, murder, killer arm, heavy sleeper, of course referring to his deep freeze hibernation.
Right.
Bucky has the new black vibranium arm that was given to him in Infinity War, so the Wakandans must have given him this arm as this zombie outbreak began. He says,
You know all I have to do is squeeze, right? Okay.
kind of like Indiana Jones's threat to that Nazi woman in The Last Crusade.
All I have to do is squeeze.
Then
How the hell would you remember that? How would you remember that? Whoever is in your team that was able to remember that and find that shot with such quickness is amazing. That is such an oddly specific reference. Is that because that to me was not one of the most iconic moments in the movie?
No,
but
yeah.
like Indiana Jones is something I watched a lot as a kid, and I like. That's not a line that like stuck out to me. Is something to like hold on to.
Sharon Carter, listed as the blonde Bond.
Yeah.
Skills, spycraft, first aid, eulogies, referring to how she patched up Team Cap and eulogized Peggy Carter in Civil War. And
that's
final member of Team
right.
Koay, who's in the US looking for T'Challa after he went missing. And we see how their base is a series of subway cars and a bus and then a school bus, all whipped together, suspended between buildings.
You know what? I didn't even realize that was buses and
No, I didn't either.
it just
I
looked
was
like a cool facility to me.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like he just lifted that up into the air. Nice.
Yeah.
Genius idea for a sanctuary in a zombie apocalypse. I'm not sure how they were able to avoid Falcon all this time. They used what looks like
Oh,
Stark's gauntlet
yes.
from the Hulkbuster armor to hollow project the signal that they've received. It also looks like they got a Super Nintendo over on the right. Banner says,
Well, it looks to me like your message is in nonlinear hexacode.
That location look familiar, Agent Carter?
It's Camp Lehigh in New Jersey.
Camp Lehigh, of course, where Cap first trained in the first movie, and where
That's
he and Tony
right.
stole the Tesseract in Endgame in 1970, and where Cap and Natasha discovered Zola's algorithm in Winter Soldier, leading to that place getting bombed back in 2014.
You didn't recognize the location when they were
I
leaving?
recognized the name, but I didn't make the connection with it.
Yeah, because
going
when
all
they're
the way
when they're
back to
escaping
Captain
with
America.
Vision, that bunker looks like just straight out of well, the last time we saw it was in Endgame,
Right.
And it's when Tony goes down underground.
Yeah.
When everything's falling apart, we see a glimpse of that from the outside.
Yeah.
Most of it appears intact this episode. Happy drives them to Grand Central.
I thought you were an Uber driver.
No, I'm a personal chauffeur. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, we realize that they are in the Pimtech van that Hope drove in Ant-Man and the Wasp, with this jump scare evoking that huge pigeon. Station, and they use it to burst through the zombie's head. Now, Grand Central Station is where Hulk punched Thor out of the movie and the prologue of Spider-Man Homecoming, but this station does not connect to New Jersey. Anyway, they split up.
Do you guys just not have horror movies in Wakanda?
We don't need them. We have American reality shows.
Yeah, Peter brings up a crucial point in most zombie fiction, that a lot of the times characters are not as aware of horror movie tropes as the audience is. A meta concept explored really well in movies like Scream and Cabin in the Woods starring Thor, but in this case, Peter Parker is aware of zombie movies, everyone else is not. And in WandaVision, they did screen George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, so characters in this universe should be aware of some of these tropes. Happy uses his palm repulsor, but he and Sharon get attacked by zombie Hawkeye, and after Happy dies, his zombie self still says blam.
Oh, he does!
I didn't even catch that for some odd reason.
I didn't. I just thought that was
a growl, yeah.
Kinda killed Denai Guerrero's other zombie-killing character Michonne would deliver in The Walking Dead.
That was your friend. Sorry about that.
I should be sad, but I'm not.
Yeah, this is before Bucky and Sam worked together in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when they still had more of a love-hate relationship coming out of Civil War.
Can you move your seat up? No.
You couldn't have done that earlier?
I hate you.
They're able to escape the train station, and Spider-Man gets the help from the Cloak of Levitation.
It's a good look on you. Really? You think I could pull it off?
Maybe I'll grow into it.
Maybe a hint toward Peter's coming experience with sorcery and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Zombie
You
Cap
pointed
kills
that out
Sharon.
too.
Notice that as she's at his feet, her finger twitches a little back to life. Zombie Cap's sleeve is torn, and you can see he still has a defined deltoid. My boy's still jacked, or it's like a bloody gash. Either way, he's
That looks like a
cut.
bloody gash to me.
Yeah.
Punches Zombie Cap in
Either
that
way, he's
jaw,
cut.
causing it to plunge down a foot. Gross. Cap tosses his shield at Bucky, who hurls it back, similar to Bucky's shield catch in Winter Soldier, and it cuts him in half.
Sorry, pal. Guess this is the end of the line.
Yeah, end of the line.
Sorry, not
was their
sorry.
repeated line to each other.
I'm with you to the end of the line, pal.
Because I'm with you to the end of the line.
It's a little interesting to me that he didn't reference Falcon and the Winter Soldier for that toss, even though at this point, that wouldn't have happened yet, that whole storyline.
Correct.
But you see Bucky doing that kind of thing, I feel like more in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if I'm not mistaken, especially in the last episode or two when they're practicing together.
And also, I'm not that well versed on Marvel lore, obviously, but I had heard that Bucky was a contender for being Captain America, or that he was a Captain America in other comics. Like, you guys correct me, but I thought that maybe that was some sort of like foreshadowing to Bucky becoming a Captain America.
So you'll notice the music there was actually a dark minor chord version of Captain America's theme.
I called that out.
There we go.
The horn, the trumpet.
Yeah.
Is it a horn or a trumpet?
Sorry, pal. Guess this is the end of the
Some sort of
line.
brass instrument.
Or is it a piano?
Hope asks Peter how he
Is
stays
it a synthesizer? Is it a guitar? I don't know. We'll just go down all the instruments. It's a cello.
so a beat.
My mom, Dad, Uncle Ben, Mr. Stark, now Happy. I've lost a lot. But my Aunt May says, used to say, that if we don't keep smiling when they can't, then we might as well just be gone too.
Yes, this is our first official mention of Uncle Ben in the MCU after his initials.
Oh my God.
Shit.
Luggage in Far From Home, which did stand for Ben Franklin Parker, not Big Parker. Hope carries them over the zombie horde by growing big, though with that tear in her suit and how she's able to stay large even after her helmet visor is wrapped. This would be the first time the MCU has shown Pymtech-powered characters of different sizes outside of the closed system of their suits. Something that the comics don't really worry about, and I guess this episode doesn't really either. Vision explains how he was able to repel the zombie.
The whole idea is the reason why they're able to change size is because of the suit. So if there's a hole in the suit, then how is she able to do that and maintain the size?
Because it's a cartoon.
I know. I hadn't even thought about that.
Mind Stone. It emits a sub-frequency that is not to their liking.
Could that mean the infection is some kind of encephalopathy?
Yeah, encephalopathy means damage to the brain. Meanwhile, this bunker looks like the one Cap and Natasha found Zola's AI in the Winter Soldier, but must be a different one than the one that imploded. Now remember, the Mind Stone carried a kind of divine intelligence that spoke to Vision to warn him about Thanos' coming in Infinity War. And this could have been linked to the plan I've suggested, that this virus could have been engineered to get to Thanos via specifically the Mind Stone.
Maybe Wanda put it together. Maybe she was like not quite full zombie yet, and she managed to put that whole bunker together for some odd reason. Maybe she knew that Vision would need that space, and so Wanda like hooked it up. Boom.
Okay.
Explained.
A stone that I believe the Celestials first gave to Thanos before Loki's invasion, since we know the Celestials did used to wield Infinity Stones, and all of this is about getting that stone back to zombie Thanos in this case. Because why else would Thanos go to Wakanda looking for the Mind Stone if the Mind Stone wasn't there yet? Unless it's some kind of oversight or plot hole. Vision saves Scott Lang's head in the glass jar, Futurama style, and Koay tells him,
Hey, Tula, don't cry.
It's not an oversight. The thing about it is, it's a killer ending, no pun intended. It's an ending that works because it gets you excited.
Well, yeah, it's very dramatic.
Yeah, you're not thinking, that's refrigerator logic. You're not really thinking about the fact that he went there for the Mind Stone, which isn't actually there because Vision's not there.
Right.
You're connecting it to the lore that you already know, which is Endgame.
Right.
So it's fine. Maybe it was an oversight. I don't think it was. I think it was more of a thing of, look, this is contextually wrong, but it's cool.
But it's an alternate universe, so we're gonna make it work.
Right.
You'll fog up your jaw.
Sorry.
yeah, Tula Tula is a traditional Zulu lullaby in order to stop babies from crying.
Aww.
They realize Vision lured them there to feed them to zombie Wanda Maximoff. T'Challa has lost a leg, similar to how he does in the Marvel Zombies comics, and Vision says,
While your anger is predictable, I can assure you my actions, though unsavory, were nevertheless born of logic. I still cannot entirely fathom what I have done, but I cannot bring myself to leave her.
sounds like Vision found it logical to contain Wanda rather than unleash her on the world, though it also sounds like loving Wanda is just something in his code, which I think is pretty beautiful, but also really messed up how he chopped up people. Wanda awakens her terrifying Baba Yaga form at the far end of the hallway. Now, it's super creepy how the shadows of her are cast both in front of her on the floor and on the wall behind.
I
The front
didn't
one
notice
making
that.
sense for the red light source behind her, but also suggests that some light is catching an additional dark spirit that must be standing behind her. The Cloak of Levitation saves Scott, making a pretty fun duo between the two of them. Yes, of course, the levitation spell from Harry Potter, and I don't think that or any of these constitute dad jokes. Dad jokes are really just solid wordplay that Jay-Z keeps moving the goalpost on because they're mad at everyone older than them for ruining the planet, which, fair. Okoye gets taken.
My king, Wakanda forever!
And Vision
Wakanda
implodes
forever.
the bunker, saying,
There's a quad jet in the hangar.
yeah, quad jets are the predecessors to Quinjets. A quad jet is actually what Carol and Fury piloted in Captain Marvel. And Vision, to atone, rips out the Mind Stone from his own head, creating the kind of shockwave that happened when his Mind Stone was destroyed in Infinity War. But also the moment he does, his eyes roll over and he turns gray, just like he did in Infinity War, and showed back up as in WandaVision. Banner wants to stay behind and let them escape.
I don't think I can lose another friend today.
That moment when Vision pulls the stone out, it was unsettling. I didn't say so in the review of the episode, but gosh, it just reminded me of that moment in WandaVision when you see him as this reanimated corpse, basically. It's totally horrifying to look at.
Yeah, it really is.
Avenge us.
Yeah, Scott and T'Challa are like, you, dude, we're not friends enough. And if you think about it, Peter wasn't called an Avenger until Tony Stark knighted him in Infinity War, which never happened here, so Banner telling him to avenge them gives Peter that promotion. Banner finally forces Hulk out of hiding, and he and Wanda duke it out, but we never see what comes from that, or where Bucky landed. Giant Hope tries to grab the jet and fails, and pissed, chucks a zombie at them. T'Challa tells Peter,
In my culture, death is not the end. They are still with us, as long as we do not forget them.
a touching callback to Chadwick Boseman's memorable words after T'Chaka's death in Civil War.
In my culture, death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point.
Yet as they arrive to Wakanda, inside the shield gates, zombies claw to get out. Standing above zombie Dora Milaje and Jabari warriors, zombie Thanos stands victorious.
See,
when
I first saw that, I read that as the zombies were outside trying to get into Wakanda. But then when I watched it again, going over the edit for our cut down, I realized just what he was saying, that, oh, it's them trying to get out.
6 stones in his gauntlet. Notice how his pose matches his final do-it-myself shot in the Age of Ultron post-credit scene. Now, to think about where Thanos has been in this timeline, he must have gotten the Reality Stone from nowhere and the Soul Stone from Vormir, meaning Gamora is dead, and he had planned to rendezvous with Ebony Maw on Titan for the Time Stone, but now that Maw never made that trip, Thanos probably went directly to Earth to recover the Eye of Agamotto from New York, and I guess then headed to the only place the surviving Avengers would go, know. Or maybe they just didn't think about this. I don't know. The point is Thor is still out there somewhere, along with Groot and Rocket and the Guardians of the Galaxy minus Gamora, meaning there is more what if zombies to explore, as zombie Thanos would probably go planet to planet now, and then maybe even to other timelines by infecting the TVA. So Marvel, again, please give us a Marvel Zombies Part 2. Keep us smiling for hope. You can support New Rockstars by checking out our merch options at newrockstarsmerch.com.
It's entirely possible to have a part 2 in season 2. But I don't think there's gonna be a part 2 in this season.
I wish there was a part 2 in this season, but yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, they have these stories they wanted to explore, and I feel like, they could continue exploring that, but I feel like they did it in such a way that does feel kind of self-contained. They don't necessarily need to keep that plot going. It was fine as it was. It's kind of an Outer Limits episode. I mean, the whole show is sort of Outer Limits in a way, just with Marvel characters.
Sure.
And so, that's what they did here. Or if not Outer Limits, a more relevant and recent reference would be Black Mirror. There was a lot of cool references in there that wasn't just like, oh, you'd have to like really know the comics and stuff like that. There were some cool Easter eggs in there that I didn't pick up on, like first off, the simple detail of it being buses and cars. I didn't catch that. There was a couple of others. It flew by and now I can't remember it. But in the moment, I was like, "Oh my god, my mind was blown."
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a pretty fun episode, and like you said, it's nice that it's one of those that feels a little bit more self-contained in a way. At least the references are more recognizable. This was one of the few times where I watched something and actually felt like kind of good about myself, like, I recognize the Zombieland reference, and
I didn't see Zombieland.
all of that stuff.
There was that moment when Happy still goes blam. That was the thing I was talking about, where I completely forgot that. I didn't catch that, No,
I didn't even register.
I'm still mad about Vision taking his own life. Eric Voss didn't really dive into that at all. I guess it's already a 20-minute video. It just seemed odd that he would just, X himself out of this equation.
I know,
like
and give them the stone so that they can go to Wakanda right into the zombie hands of Thanos.
No one even tried to stop him from like, don't do it. No.
Yeah,
stop.
they're like, oh, okay then, go ahead. You deserve it. That's what you get when you're keeping alive your zombified, overpowered girlfriend.
Well, speaking of which, it was a little bit curious to me that she couldn't just conjure up things to eat, right? I thought she could, like, unless those are just visions. No.
Yeah. I wonder what the rules of magic are. Maybe you actually need living people in order to brainwash them. Dang, she could just have a buffet all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Fun episode, fun Easter eggs. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the breakdown. Y'all, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this too. And subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon, all notifications, vote this video up, please. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.